call the meeting to order. Welcome everybody to the Easton School Committee meeting of Thursday, October 5th, 2023. This meeting will be conducted in a hybrid format, both in person and remotely over Zoom. Attendance by committee members may be remote, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. This meeting is open to the public. We will take comments from in-person participants. If any members of the public would like to make a comment during our public comment time on the agenda, we ask that you begin with reading your full name and address before you begin. Okay, so with that, we can move to the first item on the agenda, which is the schedule of payments. So since the committee last met, warrant 016S has been approved, and warrants 015S and 017S are in the process of, they are within the approval process right now. So the next item on the agenda is an update from Marvel, our student representative of the school committee.
Hi, okay, so the upperclassmen have been vocalizing their appreciation regarding the diversification within the college visits that we have been getting at OA. And again, they are excited to see more colleges and other interactive manners. On the other note, Eastern Wings of Hope and Active Minds came together to spread awareness on the previous month regarding the awareness of suicide prevention. And many students expressed support by either putting a pin on their backpacks or taking a bracelet, which was great. We're also starting similar projects within the middle school with helping other organizations and clubs such as Eastern Wings of Hope. And in regards to campaigning with the youth, the DEIA Student Board is currently working on bringing students of OA down to all schools to interact and discuss diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. And then in addition to that, all the clubs have started up again with fundraisers and creative advertisement and have been circulating, which was great and amazing. Furthermore, the orientation leaders are eager to begin visiting their respective advisories to discuss any questions and provide assistance when needed to all freshmen, especially as the 8th grade open house comes up on October 26th. Many high schoolers are eager to help. And then finally, students all around are excited for the long weekend to relax, do homework, or enjoy their break.
Great. Thank you, Marvel. Do any committee members have any comments or questions for Marvel? Thank you for that. All right, so the next item on the agenda is a vote to approve an out-of-state trip. Dr. Cabral?
Sure, thank you. We have Ms. Souza and Ms. Hines here this evening, class of 2024 advisors, along with senior class officers. They are here to propose a trip to Newport, Rhode Island for the senior prom, which will be held on May 17th, 2024. And I will turn it over to the officers to give you more detail and answer any questions you may have.
Do we have the slideshow? Well, so we wanted to, So we wanted to have our prom this year at Newport Beach House in Newport, Rhode Island, and we would provide transportation from the school there. We want to be able to raise enough money to be able to get a coach bus, so then anyone who doesn't feel comfortable, because I know a lot of people when they go to prom that they purchase their own coach bus or party bus to take them there, but we want to be able to have a good alternative. So if anyone doesn't feel comfortable spending the amount of money that it would take, that we would provide another option that is more than just the school bus. The prices of places like this have gone up since COVID. This year, it is around, if we expect 290 students, it would be $118.52 without lowering ticket prices. But we plan to raise a lot of money because we want to make sure that this is affordable for everyone. Right now, we have about $20,000 in our bank account through all the money that we've raised through the past years, which I'm really excited about.
That's great.
It's really pretty there. I don't know how to show you guys these pictures, but you guys can just take my word for it. It's really pretty there. And we wanted to be able to give the seniors, because this is our last year, a really good venue that everyone can get really excited about, because I'm personally excited about this too. And
Yeah.
Do any committee members have any questions? Yes, Nancy?
So are you going to do a school bus and a coach bus? No,
So it would just be the coach bus.
just the coach
Yeah.
bus, which would be additional on top of
We would pay for that. We wouldn't like add that on
the
to the
class?
Yeah, we wouldn't add that on to the
Oh.
ticket prices.
Okay.
So is everyone going to take that bus, or it's an option?
It's an option. So you can also purchase your
I've
own
always had a free
party
bus.
bus if you want to, but I know that some people can get concerned about how much money that may cost, that we want to provide another alternative.
The idea of the coach bus was for like a nicer option because a lot of people get turned off by the idea of like riding a school bus, and especially going as far as Newport, Rhode Island, it would be nicer to just have like a fancier bus that people could feel comfortable just not having to spend that amount of money to take a personal party bus and to be able to.
And will you get as many coach buses as needed for the students that
Yeah,
want to go?
yes.
I think we might find out like maybe through a Google form or something, like who's interested in riding.
Good idea. Thank you.
My questions have been answered. Sounds so fun.
So do you know, is the venue available on the date that you had planned? That's always good. And can you remind me, I know we approved Newport in the past.
Yes.
Did they, was it there last year? or
No,
was
so
a
that
few
was
pre-COVID?
2020,
Okay.
and COVID
Yeah.
totally derailed that plan. I know that, so I advised that class as well, and I know our officers are so super excited, it was devastating. So I know they'll be jealous of us. But, yes, unfortunately, COVID derailed that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so would somebody like to make a motion then to approve the out-of-state trip for the senior class prom to be held in Newport, Rhode Island?
So moved. Durant?
And can I get a second?
Second to Luca.
And I'm not sure if we need to do a roll call vote if everybody's present, but where the.
I think you always have to.
No, we used to just raise our
raise
hand.
our hands, but where does technically, were we advertising as a hybrid?
Yes.
Let's do
Yeah.
roll
Can't
call
hurt.
just to be safe.
Sure.
Okay, so roll call vote then.
Go down the line.
Okay, DeLuca, yes.
Durant, yes.
Star, yes.
Loomis, yes.
All right, great. Have fun.
Thank
you.
so much.
Thank you for all the planning that goes into
Thank you
this.
for having us.
Have a good year.
Thank you so much. Be here before you know it.
You're welcome to stay.
Thank you.
It's tempting, my husband's home with my 2 kids right now.
There you
It would
go.
honestly be very relaxing.
There you go, it would be.
Okay, so next up on the agenda is a discussion and vote to approve new banner sponsors. Dr. Cabral?
So on behalf of Athletic Director McDonald and Principal Kavanaugh, I am bringing you 7 more sponsors for the banners that are around athletic fields. It is for people in the audience. It is for the school committee to, per school committee policy, to approve any new sponsors that are going to be advertised on any school property. And so the following have agreed to provide donations, which we appreciate very much, to booster clubs generally, that are going to be posted around fields reports. They include Alda Aesthetics, Crowley Insurance, the law offices of Stephen Delamere, Lisa DeVos Properties, Salon 180, SJ Overstreet, and Weinstein Keach Group. And so these are for your, and then it explains what type of business they are, whether real estate or construction, salon, et cetera. And this is for your consideration and vote to be displayed.
Thank you. Do any committee members have any questions or comments about the proposed sponsors to approve? Would somebody like to make a motion then to approve the additions to the banner sponsor list?
So move to Luca.
Second, Durant?
And roll call vote?
DeLuca, yes.
Durant, yes.
Star, yes.
Loomis, yes.
Thank you to all of our new sponsors. We appreciate your support of our students. Next up on the agenda are minutes. So we have regular meeting minutes from Thursday, September 21st, 2023. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the minutes? All right, then I'll make a motion to approve the school committee meeting minutes from September 21st. Can I get a second?
Durant, second.
And roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Durant, yes.
Star, yes.
Loomis,
Thank you. And next up is executive session minutes from Thursday, September 21st, 2023. I actually would like to hold these for discussion in executive session. So I will make that, vote on that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, sorry. I'll make a motion then to hold the meeting minutes until a future executive session. Can I get a second?
Durant, second.
And roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Durant, yes.
Star, yes?
Loomis, yes.
Yeah, flying through this agenda.
I should have said that.
Yeah, I just cursed us, right?
You did.
All right, so, next up is a discussion and possible vote on student absences and excuses policy, file JH, second reading. Dr. Cabral.
Thank you. So, school committee policy file JH was reviewed at a prior school committee meeting based on recommendations from the assistant principal group through the principals. They worked on a project this summer for fine-tuning the absence program and making sure that it complied with DESI regulations, but was yet clear for parents and students. This is up for your second reading and possible vote. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. You can hold it if you wish, or you can vote on it this evening.
So if I may, one of the things that we changed from the original one, and actually it was only one change, underneath dropout prevention, that paragraph in the next one, it said Easton Public Schools for some reason. So Jackie and I discussed this. There was no reason for Easton Public Schools to be in that spot. And at the last meeting, when you had asked about policies, I thought we were looking at the whole group. So we're fine. Jackie and I are fine with JH.
Okay.
Jackie and Nancy being the policy subcommittee members.
Right, thank you. And just on another, while you're looking at that, how is this new, the AE, is that going okay?
It's fine so far. We
Good to
haven't heard
know.
anything.
Okay.
Yes.
Good to know, thank you.
Sure.
So Nancy, what were
Yeah.
the differences between this draft and the draft from 2 weeks ago?
Just the Easton Public Schools.
Okay.
But this one and the one before the committee, the assistant principals looked at it before, there were
There
several.
were some changes,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
between that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great, yeah, because I reviewed this a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
Great, okay, all right, thank you. Do any committee members have any questions?
If someone is in school but then gets dismissed, how are they marked?
Dismissed. There's tardy and dismissed as options.
Oh.
They're not on this policy.
And then at the high school, where they track by class, they would be absent from whatever classes they
Correct.
missed for purposes of meeting
Attendance.
the attendance requirements to get credit
But
for
it
the
wouldn't be
course.
absence excused.
It would, I
No.
think, depend on the
Well-
circumstances.
I think just the classroom, it's just, you're marked absent from
As
the
long as
class.
they go in at all during the day, if they leave at any point, it's dismissed. So it would be, for record-keeping purposes, it would be dismissed. For the teacher's record-keeping purposes, it would be absent from the class that they were absent from, present from any classes that they were there for. They they left at noon. Any classes in the morning would be present, classes in the afternoon would be absent for purposes of credit for the course. This is for purposes of the school and for our reporting to the Department of Education.
For that.
Sure.
All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to approve the policy updates to the student absences and excuses policy file JH?
So move, DeLuca.
Can I get a second?
Second, Giles.
And roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Giles, yes.
Ms. Darius? Okay. Next up, October 1st enrollment. Dr. Cabral?
So October 1st enrollment is actually the enrollment that the Department of Education uses for many different purposes, particularly some funding purposes. And so each October 4th, we do enrollment reports every month, every first of the month. And for purposes of the October 1st report, we submit that to the Department of Education in an actual report to them. And our funding for the year is actually set by that, whether the students leave, whether other students move in. It's all run by the quote-unquote October 1st report. So we also take the opportunity this time of year to update the school committee on the enrollment, as well as the enrollment trends. And so the school committee secretary, Mrs. Souza, puts together this report for you. You can see the last 3 years here. Well, you see this year and then the last 3 years prior, where you can start to take a look at some trends. So typically, it's pretty static. We always see some changes in the middle school and then more from 8th to 9th grade, and then it stays pretty much the same. I always suggest that instead of looking down at grades, if you start, for example, where it says FY21, you see 65 students in pre-K. If you then go FY22, one column down, it's 198. And then if you go FY23, it's 212. That shows that that pre-K class increased from 65 to 198 in kindergarten and to 212 in first grade. Whereas if you look at FY21, you can see that the kindergarten class 4 years ago had 65 students, and then the next year it had 92 students in pre-K, and then the next year it had 114 students. So you can see a couple of things here. One, you can see that our pre-K and kindergarten classes are, our pre-K classes are growing significantly. That is to be expected based on the new school. And you can also see that not necessarily in kindergarten, FY22 was difficult because that was coming off of COVID, but you can see in first grade and in second grade, there were also significant increases in FY22. It's pretty plateaued right now, but you can see if you follow the grades all through the elementary grades, almost all of them, if you're doing that diagonal longitudinal data, almost all of them increase. So again, for example, kindergarten FY21 went from 224 students in grade 1, 239 in grade 2, 224 in kindergarten, 239 in grade 1, 253 in grade 2. So we're seeing a double increase in enrollment that you're not seeing in the later grades because, again, it's due to the new school in large part. And so you're going to see increases in all 3 of the grades over the years as students matriculate into the system. So this is a good thing for us. We're happy. We're in the business of having lots of kids in our school. We are, however, right now, just about at capacity for pre-K. After this is going to be the first full school year, we're almost already at capacity for pre-K. So that is a problem for next year or the year after, and we'll think about it then. But as for now, we still have 2 other classrooms open for other grades that we could potentially make use of. We have another room that we're using for storage in another grade. So we do have some creative things that we can work on for that should last us a couple of years. But of course, as these bubbles move up, we're going to see pre-K and K and 1 and 2 all being at capacity. And then of course, they'll move to Richardson Olmsted and so forth. So this is good news for us as educators. It's good for the town that we're having families coming into the town. But just to be aware that it is going to, at some point, have some fiscal implications, potentially some facility implications, but overall, this is a very good thing for the district and something that we anticipated when we were building a new school. It's part of the reason that property values increase when you have a new school in the district, families move in, and so forth. So if you have any questions about anything else, you can see the bottom line numbers don't fluctuate too much, but that's because we're still only half of this is increasing, but yet you have still some, you still have that movement in middle school and then going into ninth grade because we don't offer vocational programs, for example, or particular programs that students are looking for that maybe a private school offers. That has been consistent, probably between 20 to 35 students a year from 8th grade to 9th grade, so that's pretty typical. Other than that, we don't have a lot of anything that's atypical on here, but if you have any questions or you want to note anything or you'd like us to get you more information, please let us know.
Thank you. Any questions? Nancy?
Anybody else want to go first? Okay, grades 1 through 5. How many grade 1 teachers are there? How many grade 1 classrooms are there?
There's an average of 12 at every grade.
Okay, so grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everybody, there's 12 classes.
I'm not sure if there are exactly 12 right now, we can check, but there are either 11 or 12 at every grade.
11 or 12.
Yes.
So as I'm noticing, grade 1, and like you said, there's more kids that keep moving into Easton, which is great, and 212 is the number right now for grade 1. And I know as that grade goes up, and then in May or April, you start preparing for next year. So maybe there's less grade 1 teachers now and more grade 2 teachers now, and people will flip-flop around.
Yes, we actually do that. We did that with a teacher this year. That typically happens for the newer teachers. It's good. It's a good thing in the sense that they get to experience many different grade levels and see what they prefer when they finally have professional teacher status, so they've been here a while and they're able to choose a grade that they enjoy maybe the most. But it's very typical for new teachers to move from school to school or from grade to grade. What is going to be different now is that we, in the past, had teachers move from school to school. So for example, we may have less students in grade 1 at Moreau Hall, but then we had a large kindergarten class at Center, and so a grade 1 teacher had to move to Center. Now, because we're in one building, they'll just be moving grades, but not necessarily schools. But we have had teachers, because one of the elementary certifications is grade 1 through 6. We have had some teachers move from Richardson Olmsted to Blanche Ames and vice versa. So different schools might still happen, but within a school, definitely that happens pretty much every year.
We have 11 grade 1s.
Okay, so it's basically 11 or 12.
11 and 12.
Exactly,
Yes.
depending on the
Exactly.
size of the group, exactly.
Right. Well, and my thing is about making the class sizes smaller just because that's a lot to do with, how the kids, the adjustment counseling and all that. And I think if you have smaller classes,
Absolutely.
your teachers can really help the students more. And if we had the room, and had the money, oh my goodness, it would be great. So, but this is good. Thank you very much for this. Yeah.
We're very fortunate right now. We have excellent class sizes right now.
I was just going to say that being in one building is really nice because we can spread the students out. So if a new student comes in, we can look at the class sizes between the 11 classes, where previously, for example, when the 3 pre-K to 2 schools were separated, there might be one school that had more kids than the other, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And I see our largest class is grade 11 right now, so.
It is.
Not by much, but it wins the prize right now. All right. But thank you very much for that information.
Sure.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Go ahead.
What is unilateral placement by parent?
That is an outplacement to a special education program.
By parent choice.
Yes.
I had a question about the virtual academy. I understand it's still a very small number, but do we have a sense for what grade levels the students are that are opting for full virtual? Just curious.
Yeah, most of them tend to be at the upper grades. We're seeing that a lot of them are due to more social emotional issues than anything else, and those tend to emerge either in middle school or high school, whether it's school aversion or social anxiety. And so we do have some medically fragile children, but by and large, it is typically the students in between grade 6 and 12.
And was this data recorded prior to COVID?
Yes, and it's been pretty steady.
So it's not due to COVID?
No, we've had a pretty, the schools right now, actually, there are 2 virtual academies in Massachusetts that are considered free public schools for any children. And they have both had waiting lists for quite some time. Right now, it is extremely difficult for a student to get into one of the 2 academies. That is due to COVID. But prior to that, we had about between 10 and 15 pretty much every year would make use of the academy.
Our homeschool numbers increased during COVID, and you can see they're back down to where they typically have been.
Is homeschool not here?
Only with the IEPs.
Oh, it's not there, right?
Any other questions, comments? Thank you. So next up is a vote to assign a school committee member to the MASC Delegate Assembly. So the Delegate Assembly is in person this year, and all of us, anybody on the committee could go. And so I decided to go ahead and sign up. So it'll be in person in November on the Cape. And in order for one of us who will be attending the assembly, which is only me at this point, to participate in voting for MASC resolutions and any other actions at the assembly, this committee needs to vote to approve me as its delegate.
So do we make a motion to approve you?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve Jen Starr to go to the MASC delegate assembly.
Need a second? Second, Joyce. And roll call vote?
DeLuca, yes.
Joyce, yes. Star, yes.
Loomis, yes.
I got to do mine virtually. It's lovely. It's actually, you know what, there's a lot, it's good, you'll like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's a lot to carve out, a few full days, but I'm
Think of it as a
glad it's in
vacation.
person.
Think of it as a vacation.
Okay.
It'll be great. All right, so I am going to make a motion to table item 10, which is on the agenda as a parent-teacher conference item. Can I get a second? Second, and roll call vote?
DeLuca, yes.
Joyce, yes. Star, yes.
Loomis, yes.
All right, so next up on the agenda is public comment, and we have no public comment this evening. All right, so next up, superintendent notes. Dr. Cabral?
Thank you. I do have a few items. First, we do have our professional development day tomorrow, so there is no school for students, but as far as the professional development itself, I'll have Assistant Superintendent Chrissy Pruitt talk about that. But Marvel, you can stay home. Probably hard work this evening. Jen had referenced the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, MASC, and the MASC resolutions. They have several resolutions this year, one of which I had sent you summaries of them and where Easton may be impacted or not impacted and what we're currently working on. One of them was a resolution to require districts to share gun storage and safety information with families. Whether or not the resolution goes through, I had told you in that email that we were working on that as a district anyway. We don't need to be told To do that, it doesn't need to be a resolution of the state for us to do that. We're happy to provide that information. So I did reach out to Chief Boone, and he very cordially sent me some vetted resources, and I am going to share that in our newsletter. We're currently determining, because we have a couple of new central office staff, whether I'm going to continue superintendent newsletter or whether it's going to be a central office newsletter. So once we hammer out that very serious decision, it will be part of that newsletter and it will be available online. So we are offering resources. Again, this is not, or I should say, this is not any commentary on gun ownership or whether people should have guns or not guns. It is simply resources for parents should they have guns in their home, of how to make sure that any children who are in the home, who are very naturally curious little beings, how they can better protect their children if they are interested in accessing the resources, including one of the resources at least had the opportunity to get free gun locks and so forth. So we'll have that information in an upcoming newsletter. Along with a lot of other very helpful information about other topics, so please watch for that newsletter. We have the Youth Health Survey coming for grades 7 to 12 this year at the end of December. The school committee had asked to have a coalition or a committee of stakeholders to discuss any changes to the prior year's questions before each administration. It is administered every other year. So the Director of Student Services, Craig Davidson, has put together this committee. We are thankful that we did have parent volunteers. 3 from the middle school and 3 from Oliver Ames were randomly chosen. And that committee is going to have its first meeting this week, and we appreciate the representation from school committee as well as staff at the school, parents, and they will review that information. We will not be sending that out, that information out publicly, because in order to be a valid survey, you don't send out questions, but we do have a panel that is going to be able to hear what has been recommended and be able to provide their feedback about those recommendations. We also were very excited to have the ribbon cutting today for the Early Childhood Development Center, aka daycare, at the Blanche Ames Elementary School. It's such a fun, it was such a fun event for us because it was very exciting to see something come to fruition after so long. This started as just a vision several years ago. It began with a child development course at Oliver Ames, which now has been running successfully. And so in addition to that, we wanted to find, I love my 2 first, 3 first, and 4 first, so we wanted to find something that was also going to provide a service to our professional staff, our educators and support staff that are here every day. And so we opened this year our daycare or early childhood program in Blanche Ames for the children of staff members. And we had our ribbon cutting today. We were joined by community elected officials and Chamber of Commerce and the new CEO of the YMCA. And we literally cut the ribbon with the big scissors again. It was very nostalgic of the BA cutting. And I just want to once again shout out to our partners over at the YMCA, the Old Colony and Easton YMCA specifically. Time and time again, we approach them with ideas that literally have never been done before. This is the first daycare of its kind and in a school and run this way for staff. As you know, SwimWise was the first one in this entire area. A lot of things that we're doing with them, they are very good thought partners and very wonderful resources in helping us to provide support and social services for our children, for our staff members, for our families and community. And this is just one more example of that. So now our high school childcare students are going to have real live littles to work with as they are learning these skills of possibly becoming a future educator or childcare director or pediatrician or nurse or parent. And these are wonderful skills. In fact, the class was there today. They were so excited to go through. It was their first time going through because they haven't actually gone in yet. I think they start next week. So they were meeting all the little children and seeing the facilities, and they were very excited, and it was all very fun. But none of that happens without amazing partners like the YMCA. So we very much appreciate them not only listening to our crazy ideas and helping them become reality, but approaching us with stuff that they kind of know nobody else will try. And we make it work. And that's only because they are just as invested in the community as we are, and we so appreciate their efforts in helping make this a reality. And so it's been going off fine, and today was just a ceremonial aspect of it, but it's been going well since the beginning of school, and we've gotten rave reviews from parents, so we're very pleased about that. We also had our professional status reception today, which I'm pretty confident somebody's going to talk about, so I'll leave it to you. I had to just say that. And then we have had several, this has been quite the week for awards at Oliver Ames High School. So I wanted to highlight many of these because the academic awards sometimes don't get as many accolades as everything else. And so I wanted to point out a few things. We actually started a PR release and then realized we may even have too much for one article. So you may be seeing a few articles about these items. There may be more, so I am just going to share what I have right now. First of all, the national and Massachusetts school rankings came out, and so Oliver Ames, of course, we're pleased to say, has been ranked number 50 in Massachusetts out of 25,000 schools and over 400 high schools, and number 1 in Bristol County. And we also have the Leo Club, which is a student public service club at Oliver Ames, and they are the recipients of the Explore Excel Challenge. And this is with the Foundation for Nourishing Our Neighbors project. This is when students are challenged with coming up with changes that benefit the community and the student population. And so they were the recipients of a big check of $1,000 that is going to be donated to their hunger charity of choice. So we're really proud of them for their work on that. The College Board awarded Oliver Ames with 2 academic awards. First is the Bronze AP Honor Roll. The second is the AP Scholars Honor Roll. And I can read you those brief descriptions. The Bronze AP Honor Roll is for developing an AP program that creates a college-going culture and gives students opportunities to earn college credit and to maximize their college outcomes. OA High School is also honored with the 2023 AP Access Award for ensuring that AP coursework is equally available to students, no matter their backgrounds. And we're really proud of that. That is something that, of course, our equity work continues. We have a long way to go, but it is nice to have it acknowledged. And the College Board's AP School Honor Roll for the 22-23 school year recognizes schools that have done outstanding work to welcome more students into AP courses and support them on the path to college success. So with our early college program, career pathway program, and AP program, we are providing opportunities for our students like never before. And so it's not something that we do for any recognition, of course, but it's pretty nice when people notice it. So we're very proud of that, and we thank them. And also, we have 3 students at Oliver Ames who are being commended as National Merit Scholars. Those students are Taylor McAndrew, Brian Wang, and Sophie West. It is amazing. And so this is, we received a letter of commendation for the school from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation, which conducts the program, and it was presented to Ms. Kavanaugh on behalf of the 3 scholastically talented students, quote unquote. About 34,000 commended students throughout the nation are being recognized for their exceptional academic promise. Although they will not continue in the 24 program, for the program awards, commended students placed among the top 50,000 students who entered the 24 competition by taking the 2022 preliminary SAT Merit Scholarship qualifying test. So this is for students who represent a valuable national resource, recognizing their accomplishment as well as the key role their school plays in their academic development. It's vital to the advancement of educational excellence in our nation, and they hope that this recognition will help broaden the educational opportunities and encourage these students as they continue their pursuit of academic success. And so we will be putting out a press release of that, as well as all these other items in the next few days. I wanted to be sure to point those out. And that is all I have right now.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Dr. Cabral? We'll move on.
Mr. Awesome.
It's all good stuff, thank you. All right, so next up is Assistant Superintendent Notes, Mrs. Pruitt.
Sure. I have a few things also for you this evening, but I just have to say that just hearing all those awards, it's like, yes, this is exactly why we're doing what we're doing. So just a shout out to the high school and all that they're doing to prepare our students, wonderful. And also recognizing that it really is a PK through 12 effort, and that is showing, so that's great. So as Dr. Cabral mentioned, we do have our Professional Development Day tomorrow. We're excited for the opportunity to really look at our curriculum and focus on best practices. Our pre-K teachers will be will be trained on our phonics program called Foundations. They are actually implementing it for the first time this year. Our teachers in grades K through 3 are in year 3 of implementation of Foundations, but now we're starting with our preschool with the program. And that is actually funded through a grant that Foundations actually provided to us. They're doing a study with our teachers, so the whole program was at no cost as long as we participate in their study, which was great. Principal Sam Cedarbaum was able to obtain that for us. K through 7 teachers will be focused on lesson study and wit and wisdom, our new literacy program. That is more specific in 6th and 7th grade to those teachers that are only teaching English at the moment. And then all teachers 6 through 12 and other teachers that are not teaching ELA teachers will be working with a company called Britannica, and they have been working with our curriculum leaders on culturally responsive teaching and focusing on 9 competencies of culturally responsive teaching. It's been a huge success with our curriculum leaders so far, and we know that this is a real need that we have in the district, and so it's great that they actually created this training for us. It's a new program that they have been working on and created this for us because we're really going to be honing in on a couple of the competencies with a broader audience. So that's what we have for the Professional Development Day. I do want to talk to you quickly about MCAS. So the MCAS results are in. Drum roll, no. But next Wednesday, October 11th, we changed the day. We will be mailing out individual student reports. So they will be coming within the next few days after October 11th. So all families will be receiving the individual reports of how their child did on MCAS.
In tested grades.
In tested grades, thank you. What I do want to point out, and the principals are going to be coming up with a presentation on their MCAS results. However, I will be explaining more of this during that presentation. However, I do want to give you just a little heads up on a couple things with MCAS in case you dive into the data and start looking at it, because it is all available online. So the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education is comparing all data this year to the 2019 data. And what they have done, the reason they did that is because it's the pre-COVID data. So as we know, throughout the country, throughout the world, many of our children that showed some learning loss during that time. And so we are now looking at data in comparison to our 2019 data. Each year, last year was the first year we had a full assessment since 2019. So last year they set targets for us to meet in order to show growth. So when you look at the data, you will see if we met the target, exceeded the target, declined, anything like that. However, right before that determination, there's 2 terms, recovery path or path forward. Recovery path means that we have not reached the 2019 data as of yet. However, we still may have exceeded a target. So it means that if we exceeded a target, that means we're closing the achievement gap at a faster pace. Path forward means that we have already surpassed the 2019 data, and we are on the road to achieving at higher levels than pre-pandemic. So we're going to be sharing that data with you, but in the meantime, if you look at it, I want you just to kind of give you some awareness of where we're at. You can also look at other districts' data as well and in comparison and see how they're doing towards their data around in comparison to their 2019 data. But I'm really proud of our results. We've made some great progress and we're really on a nice path moving forward. Our teachers are working tirelessly, as we know. All teachers are everywhere, and it's really showing here in Easton. So I'm very proud of them. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you have any questions, let me know.
When will this year's dates come out?
They are out already. There's a window. Yep, the window is out.
Oh, okay.
So then the schools just have to determine exactly which days will be MCAS days.
Oh, okay.
And that is in the works right now. The good thing is because we are a one-to-one district now, we don't have to, the principals don't have to ask each other when they're taking MCAS. We can kind of just roll out what they want, what works best for each building, because our infrastructure can handle it.
So the state gives a window of time, 3
Yep.
weeks or 4 weeks' time. It depends on the test. And the individual schools can choose when they're going to take the test. It was a bit of a nightmare back before we were one-to-one. We didn't have enough devices for every student. And so we did have to maneuver. Now we are able to avoid things like right before a vacation, Fridays,
Right.
Mondays, things like that right after a holiday, right before a holiday, things that might be distracting. So it makes it much easier. And it is done exclusively on computers now,
Yes.
unless the student has an accommodation.
Any other questions or comments for Mrs. Pruitt? I did want to, I was thinking of you today because the Boston Globe released an article on reading programs. And it actually has a drop-down where you can select your district and look at what their past reading program was and whether it's high quality and whether or not they're moving to something. So it was nice to see the programs that we are implementing now called out in that article as high-quality programming. So I was very, very grateful that
Yes.
compared to peers, we are ahead of the curve
Yes.
with recognizing the science of reading and putting a program in place that is best in class. So
Yes.
thank you for
Right.
all of your work. I know it's been
Yeah.
a long haul to get all that tested and tried out and all the work groups and to get into the classrooms. But it is something that is now catching public attention, so.
And they've been wonderful to work with. They really design professional development for us, and they're really there to support our teachers. It's a huge learning curve for our staff, and I think that they are trusting the process and pushing along, and they have questions which will be answered tomorrow, which is great. But I really give them a lot of credit for all that they're doing to try and have an open mind for this new program.
We've recently done math and science programs, and those can be very consuming, of course. But a literacy program is completely different.
Yes.
There are so many facets to it and so many components, and getting the background in the science of reading in addition to a new program, it's quite a lot of work. And they're doing a phenomenal job. It's not easy, but they're doing a great job.
The article was, it was really interesting with kind of how they dug into and framed it. It's always interesting when you see
Yeah.
something like education on the front page of
Yes.
your local paper.
Yes.
It looks familiar to you.
Yeah,
You
I
know
know,
what they're
right.
talking about. Yeah.
Well, where are we? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, check that
Was
box.
our data right? Did it say wit and wisdom?
It said, not for last year,
Right.
right, so it
Because-
said.
It was updated. Interesting.
Well, it said,
For
so it
this year,
said that
yeah.
it checked, it,
It was last year's.
well, it said last year and gave a piece of data on that program.
Yeah.
And then, but there's another column that says whether or not you are changing your program this year.
Great.
And and it
Okay,
did
good.
say that.
Oh,
Yes.
interesting.
Yes, moving to, and I think
Implementing the
They
specifically.
didn't
data
ask
through,
us, so
yes.
that's pretty
You know, they
interesting.
did, I
High
updated it
quality.
Oh, you
through
did?
Desi's portal, yes, yeah.
Yes, yeah, and it is
Great.
coming
Just
from
in time.
a
Just in time,
Desi
good.
study.
Yeah, good.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
they
they're
are-
actually paying attention.
There are some
That's good.
journalists that are paying a lot of attention to
Yes.
that Desi data, so.
Yeah,
All right.
great.
Okay, school committee notes, so we can begin with, I guess we'll go down,
Okay.
all right, Nancy?
I will bring up the professional status reception that was held today in the OA cafeteria. 8 teachers received professional status, which means they've taught for 3 years and they've begun their 4th year. And in Easton, we recognize them, and there were families that came and colleagues that came. They get an award, and it's just a very great, a nice time. It's, I don't know, and they all look, to me, they all look like they were in high school, but that's okay. They were very young. But well-deserved, and the principals were there, and Dr. Cabral and Mrs. Pruitt, and we were there. So that was very nice, and I'm glad that Easton still continues to do the professional status
Do you want to
ceremony.
name them?
I can name them, sure. From Blanche Ames, Athena Duquette, Carrie Lawson, Miranda Leone, Jennifer Trudnak. From Richardson Olmsted School, Olivia Leonard and Gabriella Prone. And from Easton Middle School, Maria Rastusha and Jessica McPeak. And it's just a very nice, there's not too many times that we can all gather together to celebrate educators, and this is one of them. So it was very nice. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure I do, but I can't think of it right now.
Michelle?
I just have a shout out to the All Marines Marching Band. They had their first competition last weekend, NESBA competition in North Middlesex, and they came in first in their division. And I believe their next one is in Melrose. But yeah, first competition, first place. Great way to start.
Defending that title.
That's right.
Yes.
They're the ones to beat, so.
And when is Tigerama?
Oh, October 21st. An all-day event. Come on out. I don't know how many schools we'll have, but there'll be, it's a big competition, and we're hosting it for the 2nd year, which is wonderful, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Hopefully it won't rain.
We ordered good weather.
Hopefully it
so
won't
it
Yes.
should be
I
fun.
know. Oh, God.
We ordered good weather, so it should be fun.
There you go. Flashbacks to sitting in the stands in the rain and snow.
Thanks, Nancy. Lauren, any
I do.
updates? All right.
So today was such a fun day of driving into campus and seeing the football field was all decked out for Boosterthon, which is a fun run that is an RO fundraiser, and they raised $63,000, which is amazing. And then driving along and you see this sea of yellow for
Yes.
Blanche James for World Smile Day, which is always a fun day for them.
Just so people know, every student and faculty member was given a bright yellow shirt with a huge smile face on it. So that's the sea of yellow Lauren's
Yes.
talking about.
Yes.
You couldn't help but smile when you
Right.
saw one of them.
Right. So there's that. Also, it was fun, this is not really school related, but it was fun to see Jason Chan on TV again.
Yeah.
On, was it last Monday?
Mhm.
We always like watching that, so.
Did your
shout
television
out.
pause at the end?
Yes, when it, during,
Right,
yes.
right
Well,
at
he
his-
was
right at
speaking,
his
I was so
time,
upset.
yeah.
My mother was in New Jersey.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
she was texting me that it was
Same.
frozen.
It was.
Yes.
We missed a little piece
Right.
of Jason's,
Right of-
one
right
of
on
Jason's
his.
segments.
But it's
Yes.
okay. He
That's
still
right.
did.
I thought that was just us.
Yep.
Yeah, he still, rocked it, and he did
He
awesome.
did great.
Also, I want to remind everyone about the public service, public works, police station, fire, municipal building project,
Public safety.
public safety project, thank you, that We have a special town meeting on October 23rd at 7 PM at OA. And they are all going to be on a road show on October 11th at 6:30. They'll be at the Lions Club. October 12th at 9 AM, they will be at Council of Aging, Frothingham Hall. October 16th at 10 AM, they'll be at the library, coffee with the chiefs. And then at 6 PM at the Easton Grange. I'm sure all are welcome to attend any of those. And also, I want to thank the Robotics Club, and Michelle, you could probably give the official name for the Robotics Club. For
Iron Tigers?
Yes, Iron Tigers, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
For doing their after-school program at RL, which is a fundraiser for them, but it's also a huge, exciting after-school activity for the kids. So it's a win all around, because it's very popular and very fun. And that's all I got.
All right, that's a lot, great, thank you for all that, all good info. Actually, I don't have a lot this week, I do not have a full sports report today because there's so much happening right now, but, some of the sports are actually closing in on sort of the end of their season in the next few weeks, so I promise a sports report at the next meeting, but I am following along on Twitter and other social media, and it certainly seems like we have quite a few teams who are doing very well and who are on streaks at this point. So good luck to all of our student athletes as you continue through your seasons. And then, as Lauren mentioned, a couple of fundraisers. 'Tis the season for fundraisers, so if you're in town, there's probably a car wash that you can go to every single weekend until it freezes. So if you see an opportunity to participate in any of the fundraisers being done by our student organizations, booster clubs, et cetera, I do encourage you to, please be on the lookout for those and support those organizations, because our students and all the adults who help them are working very hard to provide good programming. So go get your car washed.
Even if it's raining.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, all right, so, let's see, next up, I make a motion to move into executive session, not to return to open session, for the purposes of pursuant to MGL, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining through the Easton Educators Association Focus Block, MOA, for Unit A coaches stipends, and SPIA, the Southeastern Public Employees Association Food Service Unit. And in my opinion, having this discussion in open session would be detrimental to the bargaining position of the school committee. Can I get a second? Roll call vote?
Luca, yes.
Durant, yes?
Star, yes?
Loomis, yes.